Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in with us this morning.
You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well. Let's go! Come on, get up. Cause you tune into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs. Yeah, strong will to empower people, to promote the peace, no positive attitudes, behavior that's a lifelong dream goal. Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best version you can be. Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic movie.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, CSRA. This is Coach Patrick. I know you're used to hearing Jackie's beautiful voice come on before you hear mine, but I'm flying solo this morning, so I'm driving solo this morning. Jackie's not with me on this morning. She's hanging out with the incredible, phenomenal women of Restoration Ministries on the day they're doing the ladies' things from the ministry. So I'm here by myself this morning. So y'all work with me. You know, if you feel free, you want to call in, call in. You know that we love your views and opinions on the things that we talk about. Got a good subject on this morning. We're talking about church security. Church security. Listen, if you want to call in and join in on the conversation, you can do that by calling 803-226-0041 or 803-226-0043 and talk to us a little bit about how you feel about church security, or if you have church security in your church. Some people have withdrawals about church security, but we probably touched on that a little bit. Just a little house cleaning on this morning. Happy birthday to everyone that's celebrating birthdays in this great month of December. My mother, my father are celebrating heavenly birthdays, so happy birthday to them. My sister-in-law Barbara, she's celebrating her birthday in December. Happy birthday, Barbara. I hope you're having a great, great, great time celebrating yourself and enjoying your day. Happy anniversary to everybody that's celebrating at anniversaries. My brother Rob McDaniel and my beautiful sister Deborah McDaniel, they're celebrating 42 years of marriage. Man, that's a lifetime.
Yes.
That is a lifetime. But they're doing some great things, and I love them both. So happy anniversary. Keep becoming who God has created you to be, as it pertains to your marriage, and keep living. So you keep celebrating birthdays, those that are celebrating birthdays. All right. So I want to recognize our sponsor, Dr. Dan of Aiken Chiropractic. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Lawrence Street Northwest in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9191, and their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. If you would like to be a sponsor, a partner, or a friend of the broadcast, you can call 706-592-8862 so that you can help us do what we do on a continuous basis here on this broadcast. And not only that, but the other things that we do as an organization within the community. We provide a lot of chronic disease management and prevention classes that are free to the community. So when you support us, you support that. Talking about that, Jackie and I'll be providing a Healthy Heart Ambassador blood pressure self-monitoring program. That program is going to be a virtual program, and it's going to begin on January the 12th, 2026. 26, man, we're about to go in the whole new year. So that program is about helping adults with hypertension accurately monitor their blood pressure consistently, which is going to in turn help them to identify triggers that cause their blood pressure to spike. It's also going to address your nutritional needs and And so there'll be a monthly class. The program is 4 months. There'll be a monthly class where you do nutrition education. It's free, as I said. It's free. It's a free program. It's a virtual program, so you don't have to worry about trying to meet in the building or nothing like that. You just come up over your phone. You can call in, or you can come in via computer. That the program focuses on, as I said, self-monitoring of your blood pressure with individualized support, and it teaches lifestyle techniques through nutrition education and cooking classes. So we're looking forward to it. Slots are filling up. So if you would like to participate, you can give us a call at 706-592-8862, or you can visit our website at getfitwithjackie.net. Go to that contact page and leave your information, and we'll get in touch with you and give you more information about the program. You know, it's a pretty easy program. Like I say, the program is 4 months. You meet with us. You have to meet with us at least twice a month to do your blood pressure, and that's only gonna take between 10 or less minutes. So you know, it ain't taking a whole lot of your time, but it'd be very beneficial for you. Very beneficial for you, without a doubt. We've had plenty of people that take the program, and it's helped them tremendously. All right. Announcement, which is Be Mighty. Yeah, Be Mighty Enterprises is having a Christmas toy drive. This is the 6th annual Christmas toy drive, and it's for special needs and disabled children in grades K through 5. And I think this is awesome, you know, actually, you know, identifying and focusing on the special needs and disabled kids. But if you have any new or unwrapped toys or monetary donations, you can send your monetary donations to $release, $release, the number 2, Shun, SHAUN. That's Cash App. $release, RELEASE, 2, the number 2, Shun, SHAUN. If you would like to make a monetary donation towards that Christmas drive, or you can just drop off a new or unwrapped toy here at the station, and we'll make sure that they get it. Other drop-off locations is Kings and Queens Christian Academy, which is located at 1101 11th Street in Augusta, Georgia. And as I say, right here at the station, WAW 94.7 FM, which is located at 2166 Park Avenue, Southeast in Aiken, South Carolina. Now, if you want more information, you can go to www.bemighty, B, the letter B, BeMightyEnterprises.com. You can make your checks payable to Be Mighty Enterprises. Their number is 706-836-8598. Well, all right, we're going to talk about church security. I got Minister James Stokeling in the studio with me. As I said, Jackie's not with me this morning, so I'm driving solo. So y'all call in, talk to me, hit me up on the comments over there. I'll check them from now and then and see what y'all talking about. But I got Minister James Stokeling in the studio with me, and we're going to be talking about church security. You know, church security, it involves a comprehensive plan, you know, to protect people and property from intentional harm, by providing that security, as well as preventing accidents and maintaining well-being, just maintaining that safety. We try to take a holistic approach, which includes forming, you know, a dedicated team, conducting risk assessments, developing emergency protocols within the ministry, and integrating physical security measures and technology. So we're going to talk about those things and probably some other things. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Minister James Stokeling, and he's going to tell you who he is and how you can get in touch with him if you're interested in church security for your church. Good morning, Brother James.
Morning.
How you doing, man?
Doing great.
All right,
Praise
so
God.
glad you're with me. Let's make sure you're coming through the mic here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, talk in that mic, that way
Okay.
people hear you, okay? All right, so tell us a little bit about who you are, you know, and what you do.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on this morning. Also, thank you for supporting my ministry, Church Security Roundtable Ministry, which I started about 10 years ago for the purpose of training safety and security teams about safety issues. You named some of the things already, but it's a lot to security.
Mhm.
A lot of, not just, the active shooter part. We got to have somebody in place for that, but all a big broad thing of security.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Minister James Stokeling. I retired from the Army. I spent 20 years in the Army. Now I'm serving in the kingdom of God, and I have a passion for security, keeping people safe while at church.
That's awesome.
I was asked by my pastor way back in 2007 to be the security director of the church. And I was like, I'm a retired Army. I don't know. So
well, see, that's probably why it came to you, because you had that military background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I figured that. So I told him, I said, hey, I need to get some training, because I need to know what I'm doing,
Right.
So he said, okay. He said, we'll find some training, and then the church will, pay for it and get you out there. So I searched the web, and I found Stop conference back in 2008, and that's security, training, offering, policy, procedure, education, and direction conference, and that was by Bishop Jake's security team in Dallas, Texas. So I went there. Oh man,
what year was this again? Now
2008.
2008. Okay. Okay.
So I went there. Actually, I went there 2008 and 2009. So I was just blessed, man, to get all that training. And then I did other security workshops, seminars, and conferences. I got all those skills from there. Spent a lot of money, doing it. So I was at the Potter House at their security conference. That was in Dallas, Texas, Bishop Jake's security team. We flew out there for 4 days. So, intense training all day long. I mean, early in the morning all the way to the evening, give you lunch, So that's how I got my experience.
Okay.
And I said that because it might be somebody out there that is in the same position that I was in, and they need that training, and they're not able to go to those places. Well, Church Security Roundtable will train you, start you from ground zero all the way up to policies and procedures and everything you need about church security.
Awesome.
I have that experience. Thank God for that experience.
Sounds like some valuable training.
Very, very good training.
Especially what all is going on today. And that's what we, as Christians know, we know that we have protection from God, from our angels, and we know we have that.
Right.
But in this world today, this element, who'd have thought we would have to deal with an element like this, that's 20 years ago, maybe.
Exactly.
Who would have thought we'd have had this element where we had to actually have someone armed in our ministry, just so we can ensure that the people, are free to serve in a safe place.
Exactly. Back in the Bible, when Paul got ready to leave the scene, he said to Timothy, he was giving Timothy a little briefing, and he said, hey, be aware. He said, because of it's in 2 Timothy, the first chapter, Paul was telling Timothy, he said that his teaching will come under attack.
Wow.
And then he said in chapter 3, verse 1, he says that in the last days, perilous times are going to come. And he started naming things about verse 2, men going to be lovers of themselves, and had a whole list of sins. We see all of that, And that's in Acts, the 20th chapter, the 28th and 29th verse, Paul says that after I leave, he said, savage wolves will come in among you.
My God.
Boy, and will not spare the flock. And that's what we're seeing now. And Paul was warning young Timothy, preacher, what's going on. So that's warning him to put somebody in place, so that when they come in,
to be watchful. Most
And
definitely.
the people that coming in, the cowards that come in to do all this stuff, when they see somebody in place, it'll deter them from doing what they're doing. So I just want to say, I go to a lot of churches, and I look around, I don't see security. I don't see nobody watchful. I don't see nobody in the parking lot. I don't see nobody. And that's why those guys are able to do those things that they do, because nobody's watching.
Yeah, and that's a good point you make. From the parking lot to the pew,
all the way.
We need to have that vigilance. where, you know, where you can see people, you know, that are being watched for, that are on, you know, parking cars, that are
Definitely.
making, you know, paying attention to who's coming to the church and who's coming into the church.
Right.
And, you know, we have to do that these days.
Right.
You know, there was a time when people wouldn't even pass by a church smoking a cigarette.
Exactly.
You know, but
no respect for the church
man,
now. You know.
I tell you, bro.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Man, my heart goes out to those churches, and we'll talk about some of them that had these incidents that happened at the church. And then if they could just had somebody in place, right. It's ring of security, it's ring of protection. Parking lot, you named it. Okay, parking lot, we're going to talk about it a little later on. And you got the greeters. You're watching. We're gonna break it all down to you. What everybody's job is. Right. Then you have the usher who's in charge of the whole service, and then you have security on the inside. So with that ring of protection, we shouldn't miss nothing. Right. You know. But anyway,
but I like what you said too. Everybody
team
has a role,
right,
in security.
Definitely,
everybody.
It takes a team to get it done.
That's right.
So when I got all that training from Bishop Jake's security team in Dallas, I brought it back to my church in Augusta. My church is a New Life Worship Center on Morgan Road.
Very familiar with it.
Yeah, Dr. Claude Harris and Pastor Regina Harris. And Pastor Jay is the senior pastor now.
Claude Harris.
Awesome.
Junior, right?
Yeah, junior. Awesome minister now. So I was able to start my security team from there, you know, with that training. It was me at first, put it like that. So my job then was to look out in the audience, in the congregation, and get help. So a security team should have the security director, an assistant director. You can't do it all. You should have a treasurer, and you should have a secretary. Okay. And the reason why you should have those, because with security, you got to buy stuff.
Got a budget. That's right.
You got a budget. You got to have conferences. You got to have workshops and bring people together. You know, and I was just so blessed, man, to get that training in Dallas. And so I was able to look out in the congregation. I was looking for retired police officers, or active police officers, retired military,
security guys,
nurses, doctors. You know, because you got to put a team in place. That's right. Let's say, for instance, throughout the service, somebody have a heart attack. So if you already, prior to forming your team, reached out to a nurse and asked, can you come and assist, you know, if there's some emergency during services. So we'll look for her. She'll come over, or him, come over and assist in that area. Right. So I was putting this team together, man. It was hard because we didn't have nothing. We didn't have no nurse. We didn't have a doctor. We didn't have no.
Wow.
No, we didn't have no retired police officers. No EMT.
That's a great challenge, man.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, you know, and because you need a dedicated team of volunteers to give of their time during services and make sure that the saints are safe, right, and we're prepared for any situation. Yeah. Right. So anybody can come to church and worship God together and just go back home and be safe. You know, that's the purpose. Yeah. We come to church together, we fellowship together as a family, and then we worship God and go back home safe. Right. Not go back home, not be at church and there's an incident that changes everybody's life. Yeah. You know, even to the point of a church has to close because somebody got hurt. Right. You know.
And just right there, Brother James, because you don't want the whole congregation fixated on somebody's coming through those doors. Right. Or you brought up another thing too, having medical people in place too, because people, you know, have medical issues in church. Right. You know, they may have some type of heart issue, or, you know, blood sugar getting low. We need to be able to address that too.
Definitely.
You know, so, but those things can change in an instant, man.
Right.
But we don't want the people of God sitting there worrying about those things. That's why we put these things in place. Definitely. So that we can have brothers and sisters that rotate out on a you know, weekly basis to focus and be watchful specifically for those things. Exactly. While everybody else can enjoy the word and receive the word of God. Definitely. Even though you're going to do the same thing, if you don't see it, you're still getting that word. Exactly. That word still penetrating.
Yeah,
you know?
but we're focused.
Focus
on the predators
Right.
and all the bad folks to come in, because we're welcoming to everybody.
Right.
But at the same time, we got to protect
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So it was challenging. You know.
So some of the key components, because some people are listening that don't have security in place, right?
Right.
So some of the key components of a church security plan, you kind of mentioned some of them already, but it has to be an effective security plan that requires, coordination across, the ministry, across personnel. You got to look at different layers, like you
Right.
talked about the medical piece,
Right.
the ushers, the greeters.
Definitely.
If pastors have personal assistants, what are our roles, and things
Definitely.
of that nature. So as we think about the components of a church security plan, we have to look at our specific church, right, our specific ministry,
Right.
and see what things we need to put in place.
Yes. Yeah, very, very much. So as I looked in the congregation and I didn't have any help, oh man. So what I did, because when you get those people in place, now training starts.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got all this experience that I need to train people with. You know what I mean? And so by doing it all by myself, it's called burnout. You burn yourself out trying to do it. And then you need people to make up the team. When you get people to make up the team, let me back up here. It's an unfortunate reality that in today's world, our houses of worship have been targets for evil people.
Right.
And part of the reason for that is they look at us as soft target.
Mm.
Where they think that nobody's going to be there to confront them.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past few years, and several examples of churches being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent church attack was in Michigan. This guy, he was Marine. He was a Marine, and he came to the church with his truck, and he rammed his truck into the church.
Wow. While
they was having service, starting a fire, and then he just take out his rifle and just start killing people. He killed about 4 people.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh man, see, I search the web a lot and I look for these things that's going on. Mm-hmm. Look and see, is there, and there's so many things, so many attacks in the churches that don't get put on the news. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So you got to go out there and search and see what happened.
And that right there, what you just said, just shows you it's becoming common. Because when you don't see it blasted on the news, it's trying to become a common thing.
Yes. Trying to cause fear.
Yeah.
In the body of Christ. But I would say faith over fear.
Most definitely.
Right. But you got to have a security team in place for something like this. So the body cam, I looked at the body cam of that incident, and the intruder was killed by law enforcement. So this guy come in, he burned the church down, he killed people, he killed saints, and then the law enforcement has to come to the scene to kill this individual. So when we call law enforcement, we got to have somebody in place to call law enforcement.
Most definitely.
But until law enforcement get there, we got to defend our saints.
Right.
And
now hold your thought, because a lot of ministries now, although they have security, they also may have a law enforcement on campus also.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a big deterrent. And churches are saying, I've seen some churches say, we can't afford it. Well, you can't not to afford it. You got to have it. Because if a person comes and their mindset is to shoot or kill innocent people, saints, then by seeing that car out there and seeing that officer out there, that can change his whole thought.
That's right.
That's right. They don't want to be confronted. Right. They want to do what they want to do, and when law enforcement come, they either commit suicide or law enforcement can take them out.
Right. They can de-escalate. And that's the thing about having law enforcement, a person that's on campus that has a uniform on, that has authority. A lot of things can be de-escalated right there. and it won't get to the point to where your security ministry has to get involved, because
There you
see, when
go.
your security ministry have to get involved, people may try and fight back,
Right.
and now things are going to escalate.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think it's real good to have at least one officer on duty that is very visible, and
Right.
that people can see that right there is a deterrent within itself.
Definitely. And then when you have that officer there, then you got to understand the liabilities.
Yeah.
He can handle the active shooter. He can handle the aggressive person off their meds, and that takes it away from the security team.
Right.
Then we can just focus on the inside.
Right. Because you said something again, the risk.
Yeah,
when we as a church or security men, we represent the church, then
Yes.
there is a risk involved in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I look at those situations, those active shooter situations. Think about the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent people came to worship God, and you look over and somebody has been shot. Oh man. So it has to stop.
Right.
It has to stop with good guys, with guns.
Mm-hmm.
Certain situations, because I think each church should have a security teams with armed and security team members that's not armed.
Right. And that's where your vetting comes in.
There you go.
Background checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
For
you got to
that
do
team. Yeah.
prior to that.
Right.
Make sure you're getting the right folks.
Right. That's right. That's right.
But like I said, it won't stop
Mm-hmm.
until good guys with guns show up. And I'm not talking before law enforcement show up.
Right.
There was a situation in Charleston, South Carolina. A little young guy came into the church, white guy, and he sat down, had Bible study with them.
I remember that.
Yeah, had Bible study with the congregation. They stood up and everybody grabbed hands, and when everybody grabbed a hand and bowed their head, he just started shooting. And 9 people lost their lives. So security can't close your eyes when it's prayer time.
That's right. That's right.
You gotta
Stay vigilant.
You gotta stay vigilant. You gotta
Right.
be looking.
Right.
You're looking for the thief that's
Right.
trying to steal the purses.
Right.
So you gotta have people that's watchful.
Right.
You gotta have a dedicated team.
Right. You said something, that team that being watchful. I like to go to Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 9, where it talks about. I think it's a key scripture for church security, because it shows that balance. It shows that balance of faith and, like I say, being watchful and action. And Nehemiah says, "But we prayed, to our God, and posted a guard."
Yes.
Day and night.
Yes. They wasn't playing.
To meet that threat that they had. And that threat then was, Nehemiah and the Israelites. They had faced constant opposition, and threats from enemies. I think it was Sanballat and Tobiah, and probably others, while they was rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just praying, which prayer is powerful now.
Yes.
I would never.
Yes.
I would never try to make prayer small.
Got
prayer
to
is
have
powerful.
Got to have
and it changes things.
Yes.
And it protects us.
Yes.
But instead of just praying, they said they put guards in place.
Yeah.
So they did both things.
Armed guards.
Right. Simultaneously showing, we're showing the reliance on God, while also taking that responsibility and those extra steps during that time, and what was necessary for the people to be safe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because we're trying to build and take care of the mission that God has given us.
Right.
And you got knuckleheads out there don't want to act right.
Exactly.
So we have to be ready to prepare.
You got to be ready
to deal with
it.
Listen, guys, I know you got some questions. If you got some questions for me or Minister Stokeling, please call in at 803-266-0041 or 0043. You may not have any questions. You may just have something to add to the conversation. So we'd like to hear your views and opinions here on Help Matters. So call in. We're talking about church security. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So law enforcement is going to be coming anyway. Have somebody in place to call 911.
Mm-hmm.
Get them coming. But my question is, do we stop the threat and then turn it over to law enforcement when they get there?
Mm-hmm.
0 people being hurt or killed. That's the big question. So the question to all the church leaders who think about this now. Somebody there has to stop the threat, because the time law enforcement show up is going to be 3 to 15 minutes after that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people can be killed, within that
Quickly.
time.
Yeah.
In Charleston, the guy I think he shot about 100 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and leaving 9 people dead.
Wow.
And that was when I read that, I was like, oh man, if somebody was just in place,
Mm-hmm.
just to be looking while everybody else is
Right.
praying, they could have saw him,
Right.
and intervene.
So now that particular incident was doing a Bible study.
Doing a Bible
So
study.
that was a midweek service.
Yes.
Now think about our midweek services
Versus Sunday.
versus a Sunday service.
Boy.
And we got volunteers in place.
Yes.
We don't see the attendance during the midweek service now, and that's because of a lot of reasons. People work in different hours and shifts and things like that. And when you're working with a volunteer force, that impacts who you have in place on those nights.
Yes. Yeah. That's why every church, large or small, needs a safety security team. Got to have a team in place, and that team needs to be trained.
Right.
And that's what my church security roundtable do. That's what I do. I train church security teams to be ready for situations like this.
Right.
Active shooter is just a very small part of what security do.
Mm-hmm.
Some churches are going to never face an active shooter.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
They're never going to face that. We pray that no church face it.
That's
but
right.
If we look on the internet, we see a lot of churches have went through it already. So I just say, get that team in place. If you need help, let me know. I know you can't start from scratch like I did and go all the way to Dallas and get all the information from Texas and all that. But I have the experience to sit down with you and help you.
Well, see, you'd have been for us.
Yes.
So we got this man, we got this knowledge in the CSRA. So if God has been tugging on your heart to put something in place in your church for church security, then get in touch with Brother James Stokeling. Go ahead and give your point of contact information while we're talking about that.
Yeah, you can give me a call at 706-834-6465. And I tell you, it'll be some awesome training, and it'll get you started, and then we can go from there.
Awesome. Let's take this caller. Good morning, caller. This is WAW 94.7 FM. Health Matters. What's going on? What you got? Good morning, Wayne.
Brother, like when you mentioned that those churches that have small budgets and may not be able to afford, and I know he said that they cannot afford, but reality is what it is. What is the bare minimum that they should have in place, where they can be protected, because they have security police roaming the neighborhood. What would you suggest their bare minimum to do, so that they can have measures in place, so that they can protect their Bible study or their churches?
Thank you so much. You want to go ahead and attack that?
Yes. That's an awesome question. Just having dedicated people at church that's going to volunteer to be on the security team watching. Because the quicker you call 911, the faster you're going to get somebody there to help. But when they see that team in place, that's a deterrent right there. Somebody standing up, and somebody out in the parking lot, somebody parking the cars, greeting the people as they come in, looking for things like somebody drunk or somebody that's going to cause problems. And at that point there, you can go ahead and get somebody to call 911, get them there to help you, to assist you.
If I could add to that too is, if there's a budget, constraint, use the people that you already have in place. You got ushers, you got greeters, and whatever, whoever it is that's on staff. You may have somebody opening the door. Let's make sure that they are security minded. Let's make sure that they are read up on some things that they can do as it pertains to security, to alert someone that, hey, something doesn't look right. Someone something doesn't look right. Someone brought in this big bag, so we need to make sure, we keep eyes on that, or whatever. Does that help you, Wayne?
Yeah, so you just having that open presence of people, just in place as a deterrent.
There you go.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and then you can move on from there to an active shooter. If an active shooter situation, train those guys, and then when you get a law enforcement officer that's in the congregation, use him to handle a situation like that. You got to build. It's a building process. That's why I started out by myself. When I didn't have nobody to help, I started looking. I kept looking. So I got somebody to be my director. Got somebody to be my secretary. You know what I mean? And then training is the key. So you got to have training, just a deterrent to have somebody in place looking out. That's the key.
All right, my brother. All right.
Appreciate you, and it's so important, security nowadays, and now, as you mentioned before, yeah, so it's very, I don't think it's very much needed. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
All right, my brother. We'll talk to you soon. All right, bye. All right, so that was a good question, and there may be some constraints on the budget, but then that's just mean that we have to make sure everybody else are security minded, in the other areas of the ministry until we can get. And like you say, it's a volunteer force.
Yes,
and that's what we have to keep in mind.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna have to volunteer.
You got to volunteer.
Right.
Everybody just can't sit on the
We need the help. Yeah, yeah.
We need
We have to put our hands to the plow.
Yes, sir. And also, I just want to put out there for people that already have teams in place, you can reach out to your local sheriff department for training.
That's it.
You can reach out for those guys. They'll come out, community service. They'll come out and they're trained. They're trained with your team. Matter of fact, Patrick and I just went to a range where we actually fired our weapons out there
and other weapons that they had on site.
And they had other weapons on site. So, the training is there.
Yeah.
Your team just got to take time and not just be lazy, but take time to go do the training.
And it didn't cost nothing.
Didn't cost
a dime. And they fed us.
And they fed us. We had lunch. Good lunch.
Yeah. So let me interject this too, because I want the people to really that don't have church ministries to kind of, just know that this is possible. But one of the biggest things that you need to do also is conduct that risk assessment. And do some planning among yourself, because that risk assessment is going to be that fundamental step, to identify those potential vulnerabilities or risks that are unique to your facility, that are unique to your church. So it may look a little different, but it's still security.
Yeah. To the church leaders out there, we have to be proactive, and when it comes to protecting the saints, because we don't have to be the victims. When I look at these situations, I first thing I think is we don't have to be the victim. We didn't have to not be proactive and let that guy come in and do what he did. So we got to we must have the right mindset first of all, and we must train as a team. I'm talking about that group of people, security team. We got to have the right mindset, and we got to train as a team, and we need to have a plan in place. We need to have a plan in place for anything that happened in church during the service, whether it's an active shooter or whether somebody had a heart attack or whether there's fire. We need to have that kind of training.
Right.
So we get the fire department to come to your church. Let them teach the security team and the whole church. Because I think each church should have at least 2 fire drills a year.
Yeah, those are important.
Yeah.
Right.
Just act like you're having service, and then all of a sudden, fire department comes in and fire alarm goes off. Get these ushers to get the people out safely,
so everybody know what door they're going out of and things of that nature. Yeah, that's so important, and those are some things that we all can do. I think we can do better.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to disrupt service, right?
No.
And so we have to plan that out and see when it's best to do. I've been thinking that something like that for our ministry would best time to be do it probably just right at the end of service.
Yeah.
Just have a drill.
That'd be good.
At the end of service,
That'd be good.
and everybody go through their roles. Okay, every usher in different positions in the ministry They know what they have to do. I'm going to
Exactly.
send this group of people out this door. This group of people go out this door. Where's that meeting place? You know, when we get there and things of that
Exactly.
nature. It's so
Exactly.
critical.
It
So
is.
critical. Yeah.
You know, and I think every pastor would love to see men and women in his church looking out for the saints, just in place, being proactive before something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Training prior to.
Right.
That's being proactive.
And
So
that
what?
puts you in that response mode too,
Right.
James. You know,
Exactly.
instead of reacting, you'll be in that response mode. Everybody knows what to do.
Mindset that you're thinking. You know, everybody's thinking. So, while the pastors are preaching the word, we can be looking out for the bad guys, starting from the parking lot all the way in to the pew.
That's right.
You know, there's some videos. I'm gonna talk about a couple of more shootings. I look online. I get the videos and look at the videos and see what happened and kind of talk about those issues. There was a church in Pennsylvania. Pastor was preaching. Imagine the pastor's preaching and a man with a gun step up and point the gun at the pastor.
Wow.
And thank God the gun jammed.
Thank God.
Thank God the gun jammed.
Praise
God. He's with us now.
Yeah, see that's that God that's that God factor that's there, but we're also on watch.
We're
Praise
on watch
God.
too, you know.
Yes, sir.
You know, if I could just deviate from that, I'm coming back to that. But even back in the Bible days, you know, let's say when the children, I'm gonna be brief, when God had that plan for get them out of Egypt, it was awesome. You know, he went through all the plagues and all that, and I'm gonna fast forward it, and they got out in the wilderness. God protected them with a pillar of cloud by day, and why? Because it get hot in the desert. And a pillar of fire by night. Why? Because it get cold in the desert. See God's protection? We have a covenant with God. We work together with Him. You know, and this is God's mission. We're on a mission for Him. So He's protecting us. But at the same time, the 12 tribes of Israel, they was in the wilderness, and they had the tabernacle. The tabernacle was a church. Today we call it the church, then they call it the tabernacle. That's where God present will come in. And they'll meet with the priest will meet with God, you know. And, you know, forgive people for their sin for that year. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is there was a tribe called the Levites. The Levites' job was to protect the sanctuary. They had guards. And the second part of the Levites was the priests. It was the priesthood. So they did this preaching, you know what I mean? And at the same time, they had people that guarded the sanctuary and the property and everything, you know. But so what I was trying to say was it was way back in then that God had a plan, you know, for security, you know.
That's it. God always has a plan.
He always has a
You
plan.
just need our participation.
Yeah.
You know, there's
we
always
work together.
Right. There's always a practical, natural part, you know, that we have to do.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, in Michigan, there was another shooting. This guy, he just came up in his truck. And you can look these up, a Michigan church shooting. Michigan, when the guy that burnt down the church, just look that one up, you know, just Michigan church shooting, it'll come up. But anyway, this guy came up. They was having a vacation Bible school. Kids in it. See, it causes fear when this happened, because I was watching everybody jumping up. The guy shooting outside now before he even entered. And then you just watch the video of the kids, man, just jumping around and nobody knows what to do. But then, you know, you got good people that's going to say, okay, everybody come over here. You know, let's go hide over here. And then thank God the deacon came late. And the deacon saw him get out the truck with his rifle shooting, and the deacon ran him over. You know, and then that allowed security to come out. They did have security in place, armed security. He came out of place and shot the guy.
Okay.
But just go back to the kids. You know, he's not even thinking about the kids inside that jumping up, running, and hysterical. No. And then he didn't even have a reason. Well, I'll go back and research those. I couldn't even find a reason why he did it. You know, just the devil just
It's mental, man.
yeah.
It's
It's
mental.
we got a lot of mentally
Yeah.
ill people in the
It's
world.
it's mental.
You know,
There's no reason for people to do anything like that, but it's
no,
happening.
it's
You know,
happening.
it's happening.
It's happening.
So we talked about some key components. We talked about you conducting a risk assessment if you don't have a security team. We've been talking about developing a security team and some of the things you need to take in place, the role of that security team, like
Right.
Minister Stokeling has been saying, is deterrence. You know, training has to take place, vetting, you know, has to take place. You got to conduct those thorough background checks on
Yes.
your staff and your
Yes.
volunteers.
Very important.
One thing that we have to prioritize security around too, child safety,
Yes.
children's church.
Yes.
You
Very
know,
important.
because that can get real sticky, especially if you got, you know, parents that are, you know, having some issues, you know, and this parent has
man.
got the custody and all of these
Yeah.
things. So you got to have your child care team has to be wise on, okay, whoever signed these children in are going to be the ones that sign them out.
That's right.
And we have to be sticklers about that. That's a security measure.
Yes, it is. You know, you got the father and the moms, you know, whatever they're going through,
Right,
you know, and then the baby's in the middle.
right.
You know, my daughters are teachers, and I see the things. You know, I'd be like, okay, my daughter be like, they're acting up. I said, there's a reason why they're acting up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's some things going on. You
That's
know,
right.
but yeah, cause see, the children ministry is off. You notice they're off from the church,
Mm-hmm.
so you got to have security out there
Right.
in place, and you don't need people that don't know how to de-escalate.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you got somebody that don't know how to de-escalate, and you know we got a lot of people that don't know how to de-escalate,
Right.
they cause the
Adds to the problem.
yes, and then now you had a argument that turns into a shooting,
Mm-hmm.
and that's happening a lot. You know, de-escalate. Even some police officers, they getting training now on how to de-escalate versus come out there and just react. You know, but anyway, yeah, that's another issue in the church. It's a broad thing with security.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't just the active shooter.
Right. But
You know?
you said something there, people being in the right place, you know, with the right mindset,
Definitely.
even on security. You know, you don't want to be mean spirited. You know, remember, we're at church, you're a brother, a sister, just like everybody else that's coming in that door.
Right.
So we want to be kind, but we have that extra layer of protection about us, that extra layer of awareness about us, that we just see things
Right.
and that we are mindful of. But we
Definitely.
don't treat people like, you know, that we,
Right.
you know, we don't treat people bad and ugly
Yeah,
and things like that just because you're on
exactly.
security.
And that's a good point because your security team has to be, you know, you gotta be a team that don't make your pastor look bad.
Right.
We don't treat people bad. So next week they can call the pastor, go talk to him, tell him what we did.
Because they're going to do it anyway.
They're gonna do it.
Because if you correct them, they're going to do that anyway.
They're gonna do it
You know,
anyway.
so you just make sure you do it right.
Just do it
and
right.
always have two.
Always have two.
Always have two people.
Always have two people.
Especially when you have to approach someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just the love of God.
Almost definitely.
You know, Jesus was a lamb and a lion. He got mad. He turned the tables over.
Yes, he did.
You know, because what? They was in God's house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we gotta get.
Right.
You're in
Zeal.
God's house.
The zeal, the love for it.
The love for it.
Yeah.
You know. But and we gotta follow him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we forget about we just have church. No, it's a lot to church.
Yeah.
You know, before we even get there, we're in prayer home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with our word at home. You know, have a relationship with God at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then we take that to church with other people that have done that, and then we worship God together.
That's
you know.
right.
But anyway, we had a little situation in Augusta at the mall, and it's been a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know,
Been a few times.
Yeah, it's been a few times.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the video of Sheriff Bradley, and I think he's doing a great job.
Awesome job.
You know,
Yes, he is.
in keeping the CSRA safe. You know, but anyway, somebody had a question: is it safe at the mall? You know, well, at any given time, wherever you're at, we see it at the mall, we see it at shopping places, we see it at the grocery store, we see it. You know, an active shooter.
See it at the church. See it at the workplace.
See it at the workplace. and the worst thing is at the church.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, they asked him, was it safe? You know, at the mall. And I would say anything can happen at any time. You know, so you have to be prepared.
Sitting down in the restaurant.
Sitting down in a restaurant.
In a movie.
I've seen it. I
Yeah.
mean,
all of these places I'm naming, it's done happened.
It already happened.
Yeah.
You know, so is the CSRA safe for churches? You know, we talking about Charleston. We're talking about Michigan, Pennsylvania. Is the CSRA safe for churches? Do we need to protect our church? You know, yes, but it takes a team to be put in place, and they have to train. Even a firearm safety team in place. You know, to handle a situation like an active shooter.
Right.
You know, so what I try to do is I try to train. Next year I'll be training every 3 months, quarterly, and like I said, when I do the training, I can start you from ground zero of not having a team in place, because I've been there, all the way up to having a team in place, going to the range, firing your weapon, and staying proficient with your weapon.
James, we got about 4 minutes. Make sure you get
Okay.
your contact information out there.
Okay.
People can contact you.
Okay, my name is James Stokeling. My number is 706-834-6465. And you can contact me anytime. And I'm Church Security Roundtable. That's the name of my ministry.
Church Security Roundtable.
Church Security Roundtable.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, and make sure your team, make sure they have radios so you can communicate.
Communications.
You got to communicate throughout the whole service.
All right.
You know, I've already stressed how important a security ministry is. Well, let me go back. If your team is not state certified, you can't call your team security. Remember that.
How do they get state certified? Is that something you can share real quick?
You have to go through. You have to get a. What I did, I went to Atlanta. I spent a lot of money.
Okay.
So I went to Atlanta, and there's a organization called Phalanx Security in Atlanta, and they got awesome training, and they'll take you through all the courses of being state certified.
Okay. And
at the end of that training, you do your passport. I mean, it's Phalanx.
Okay.
It's the name of the company in Atlanta.
So offline, I want to talk to you a little bit more about that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, I think the most important ministry is in the church now is security.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a ring of protection, putting people in place. First, parking lot outside needs to be a strong presence outside, and then you're having a good team in place that'll deter somebody come out and they see men outside in the parking lot shaking your hand, welcoming you, and that's a deterrent.
Right.
If he got something on his mind, no, they strong. They got somebody, you know. And then right at the next, and then having a good team in place, the intruder's going to be he don't want to fight. The intruder's not looking for a fight. Put it like that. He's not looking for a fight. He wants a soft target. And then
less resistance.
Less resistance. And then when he's challenged by the police, if you notice these situations, he commits suicide. You know, and so what are we doing in the parking lot? That's the key. Okay, looking for things that don't look right. Looking for the body language of people. Smell of alcohol, drugs on people. That's a red flag. So get in that radio and say, hey, God just got out. We don't want to turn nobody away, but we don't want nobody to come. We're not going to let nobody come and hurt the saints. Right. So we're going to be watching.
That's awesome, man. We're going to have to probably chop it up again because I know you got some more that you need to talk about.
I got a lot.
But we come to that time now. I hope, that you guys out there got something out of this about church security. Just remember your best practices if you're trying to start a security ministry. As Minister James has been saying, just start with the basics. Make sure you have your background checks. Make sure you partner with law enforcement.
Definitely.
integration amongst the different teams in your church. Make sure they're read on what's happening, and then go back and do your checks, your routine checks on what's going on, update your plans and things of that nature.
Definitely.
Listen, Minister James, man, this has been great.
Oh, yeah.
I know the people out
I'm
there in the
enjoying
CSRA has gotten something out of this and become more aware of the importance of church security.
Yes.
But listen, I thank you for taking your time.
Oh,
out to be here
definitely.
with me this
Definitely.
morning.
Yeah. It's an honor.
All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So we want you guys to stay tuned to the CMF for CMF coming up right after us at 9 a.m. You Matter with Pastor Bush. And then on at 10 a.m. Saturdays with Sean. Sean Harris will be coming up at 10 a.m. Midday Motivation with Alicia G. And then Tony D with the New Artist Profile at 6 p.m. And we got many weekly programs that comes up weekly. Minister Pearson, Morning Praise, Pastor Small, Morning Praise, Devotion at 10 a.m. Community Matters, Mondays at 11 a.m. Mary Harris, Afternoon Praise Cafe at 12 p.m. Minister Arlene Edwards, Talking It Up, 3 p.m. And then Dinner with the Flock at 5 o'clock. Reginald Forrest, Education Matters, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pastor O'Neill is Transforming Lives, Thursdays at 11 a.m. And then you got Pastor Smalls with Sister Gwen Smalls with Community Matters on Fridays at 11 a.m. Listen, we just want to thank you for listening to Help Matters on this morning on WAW Shout 94.7 FM, the voice of the gospel truth. Listen, remember, we're here at Help Matters to help you become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. We believe in 3 John 2 that, beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. You guys have a blessed and wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
I like that.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your time,
Oh,
man.
definitely, man.
We're going to have to chop it up again,
Yeah,
though.
we got to.
Yeah.
I got a lot more to talk about.
I know you do.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, we got to make room for the next guy coming on.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. All right.
Somebody was knocking, man.
Yeah, they probably trying to get in. Gotcha, Pastor. I had to get out of break point, man. You good.
All right, now. Well, Pat, I'm going to get out of here, man.
All right, my brother. I'll holler at you, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Anytime,
I want to talk to you about that registration thing.
Okay. I
Okay.
will.
All right.
Hey, Pastor. How you doing, sir? Good to see you now.
Yo. All right, Pastor. I'm good, man. Let me get out your way.
Called me last week
Good.
because I kept dropping calls.
Oh. I'll go with you right quick if you
But
want
see,
me
my
to.
thing was that once I answered it,
Uh-huh.
I would cut my mic off.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they couldn't do it.
Yeah, you don't need to cut nothing
Until
out.
I said what I said.
Right.
Unless I'm calling you on air. And for them to talk, then I cut my mic.
If you wanted to come across in the studio. It's going to go off on the radio anyway. You don't have to cut your mic off for theirs to go off over the radio. But if you're trying to capture it in the studio so that you can hear it on your Facebook and stuff, then you have to.
Okay.
Then you have to unmic that. Yeah.
Okay, they hear it on Facebook.
Right. Right.
Okay, all right.